I'll call you.
Okay.
And we're back, and we are about to witness the Emperor come back on stage again and fight for his spot in the group stage. And his opponent, a GSL player, I'm sure you all know who he is. Some of us know him as Sangho, but today we know him as Complexity KiLLeR. And he looks like one. And his opponent, again, too sexy to describe, so just take a look. IEM NesTea. Beautiful. Are you guys ready? Good luck. Have fun. Fighting. And we're going to go back to the commentators, who could be anybody at this point. But it looks a bit like the back of KiLLeR's head, and probably Moonglade too. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Jarrett, once again, and welcome back to the commentator's desk here at the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom. As, again, nice to have you here, man.
It's great to be here. Second chance, third chance.
Yeah, no, you're getting quite a lot in here.
Yeah, getting some good practice.
Charge.
I should be.
But we have NesTea going up against KiLLeR.
Can't believe I get to cast a NesTea game.
Yeah?
Such
Like
a fan.
NesTea?
It's going to be good.
Admittedly, he's pretty good. He's able to bring some pretty furious games. Slightly fell there to Puma at the end.
He was doing some pretty funky stuff.
He was.
I don't normally see some Roach Ling Bane drops on like Marines like that. It's a bit weird, but I guess maybe there was some sort of metagame going behind it, or maybe he thought he was going mech or something.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. It was very interesting.
It was an interesting play, and I mean, especially after game 2, where there was well, he established the early lead and just went, hell, well, yeah, I'll just make a lot of banelings and kill his opponent from there on. But yeah, as you said, that game number 3, very, very interesting indeed. Now, going up against KiLLeR here, can you tell us anything specifically about NesTea's ZVP, or is it more of a bold kind of statement to?
Well, he has his ZVP. I haven't seen it in quite a while, to be honest.
Okay.
Because he's been very on and off in GSL.
Yeah.
But he has been known to do lots of really interesting cheeses, such as spine crawler rushes and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it could very well end like that. I know KiLLeR is a very defensive kind of Protoss player. He likes to go 3 bases and goes for Colossus and Blinkstalker timings. I have played KiLLeR a bit on ladder. So I have a bit of probably more experience with KiLLeR's PVZ than NesTea's ZVP, as of late anyway. Now, it's interesting that you say that, because, I mean, yeah, NesTea is sometimes very up and down in the GSL. So sometimes we can see him performing phenomenally, and then other times his results wane off a little bit there. But for KiLLeR, that's sort of a similar story. KiLLeR was performing very, very well in the GSL for quite a long time, and in fact was, one of the Protoss players that had one of the longest stints in Code S. But recently, not been able to really attain such positions, and we haven't seen too much of him. So I'm interested to see what he's going to be pulling out here. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we are going to be spawning on Daybreak here to kick things off. Now, how do you like Daybreak from this matchup, from the Zerg point of view?
I think it's a very pleasant matchup on this map.
Yeah.
Both races get to kind of get their third rather easily. There's obviously timings for the Zerg to try and stop that third base for Protoss. It's pretty comfortable, and it usually just goes straight into mid-game and possibly late game. It's very easy to hold the middle with Broodlords and Spines.
Yeah.
And Colossi on the other side. We saw some interesting games with Targa just before. Who was Targa playing against? I can't even remember.
MVP? Or, oh, you mean a Protoss?
Yeah, it was a Protoss.
Grubby.
It was Grubby.
Was it Grubby?
It was.
Okay, Grubby.
That was some crazy, crazy games. But yeah, it always makes for some interesting games. They're a little standoffish at some points.
I must apologize for before, though, because apparently I've been pronouncing Tarja instead of Targa. So,
it's very,
you guys out there.
It's a very interesting way to pronounce it. Could be right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Probably not.
Well, I've always called him Targa, and he's never objected. So.
Okay, awesome stuff. So for now, KiLLeR actually going for Nexus first here, which is pretty nice for him. He's going to be able to establish that quite nicely, and
it's already a very interesting build order by. By NesTea. Was that?
Yep. Going for hatchery into spawning pool.
Yeah, so this could be some metagaming coming in. He might know that KiLLeR favors really late probe scouts, so going straight for an early hatchery first. which really does wonders for a Zerg's economy. It's so much nicer than going 15 pool, 16 hatchery.
Yeah. So he's going to actually be able to establish this quite easily. It really looks like KiLLeR can't really put on any aggression after.
No, it's pretty much far too late.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to wait around for the third base to go up, or at least make sure that it goes up. Something very important for Protosses to do. If it doesn't go up, then the threat of like a fast Mutalisk or a 2-base all-in is great. So they always have to make sure of that. And
now,
a probe will hang around.
As a Zerg, if you're able to establish yourself a next hatchery first against a Protoss, do you feel kind of really let down when you end up having a pylon thrown down at this third, which was going to eventually happen? But do you not mind it too much? I mean, you've got those Zerglings out straight after.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. You feel like you're in a really good economic position.
Yeah.
It's a great feeling to get that hatch first down and be completely uncontested. No, at least any attempts of like a gateway, a cannon rush or anything like that.
And meanwhile, what do we have KiLLeR up to? He's throwing down his gateway. He's actually throwing down his cybernetics core in his main here. So he wants to hide as where he's going to be spending that potential chrono boost if he wants to go for that warp gate. And it looks like, well, I mean, when I say if he's going to go for the warp gate, I mean if he's going to spend the chrono boost on the warp gate, most importantly.
It's always a good thing to hide. Even if you plan not to do anything with it, it's like as long as it's out of view, they'll always be wondering about it. So it's a great way to make them think a little extra.
So,
and he seems to be really chronoing it, so it could very well be going for some kind of timing.
Yeah.
Perhaps 4-gate or 8-gate, or maybe a fast third base with some warp gate protection.
Now, interestingly, this is going to tie up with that +1 really, really nicely, because he's actually caught up with the chrono. Actually, has he done that just to catch up with the 1-1 timing? Because if you look at how they're timed out now, they're literally 2 seconds between one another.
Yeah, that's right.
So that could be very, very cool indeed. Wow, throwing down 4 more gateways here.
This is getting interesting.
Yeah, but meanwhile, NesTea's taking the standard precautions that you normally see, that Roach Warren at this relatively similar time to what normally happens in this matchup.
Very safe Roach Warren. Sticking on 2 gas only at the moment. That's quite normal.
Yeah.
And yeah, NesTea kind of just droning. He's got some good overlord positions. He sees the 3rd gas go up, and it's been just started mining, but no 4th gas, so it makes him wonder. That can always mean something. It can mean it's some sort of a timing, or it could just mean that he's going for a fast third. It's still a bit unsure. So I'm sure NesTea will still be looking. He's found the scouting probe with the Zergling. Gets killed by the Stalker.
Actually, he threw down the 6th gateway as well. So this is going to be very, very intense here for NesTea.
Absolutely.
But he's already started production of the Roaches, and he's getting speed on the way as well.
It seems like he's really read what's going to happen, and he stopped mining on his 3rd gas. He's taken the probes off, so it's really going for like a hardcore gateway push with most of his Zealots. Though he has pulled an incredible amount of gas. Sitting at 400 gas right now after a warp in. Now, and a great number of Stalkers being warped in, right under an Overlord.
From NesTea's point of view, you know, I guess going as Roach heavy here is the best option. But because now he knows that the +1 is there, he has to realize that it is there, and Zealots are always a threat. But actually,
some great Zerglings around, but the Roaches are just out of position. So not as much damage as could have been done, but I guess stopping that pylon is very important too.
I'm actually very, very surprised he was able to get the majority of that surround off when Speed had not finished.
Yeah, that was really impressive. And now Speed has finished, and he has such an incredible amount of Zerglings.
Now he's gonna opt for the pylon. Doesn't want to overextend just a little bit. I think he could have got some Stalkers.
He most likely could have, but I guess it's better to be safer than sorry.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's incredibly. Oh, he's not incredibly ahead now. Like after defeating something like that, you just feel so good.
Yeah.
It's just you got a lot of time before a follow-up, and yeah, you can get all your gases, and you can go Mutas, or you can go Infestors, you can go whatever you want right now.
Now, as the Zerg on 3 bases here, going up against that and crushing it in a way that has we've just demonstrated, what do you feel threatened by from a Protoss?
Well, there's a couple of things. I guess there's always like going to be like a follow-up all-in, which you have to be ready for.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes the Protosses will just be like, well, I'm just going to keep massing units, and they're just going to hope that you just kept droning up after behind that. So that's one way to catch them off guard. But I think NesTea's kind of really searching for what the follow-up's going to be, and he just suicided an Overseer just before that Twilight came up. So it looks like it's going to be a Blink Stalker Immortal push or a Blink Stalker with Observers.
Yeah, he sees the robo, which is so important. And did he see the Twilight Council?
No, he just missed it.
Okay, yeah. So for now, won't know about that. But he is transitioning himself into Spire, as well as getting that Gliori Constitution down and +1 melee weapon. So
yeah,
actually, NesTea's spreading himself everywhere in this game.
Yeah, he's probably looking to go for mutas, but I'm guessing if he sees anything come earlier than that, he's always got roaches to fall back on.
Yeah.
So he's playing it safe and smart, not over-expanding or over-committing to anything in particular until he actually sees what this Protoss' next move is going to be.
Awesome. So NesTea now taking a fourth, getting those Mutalisks on the way here. And again, so sorry to keep asking you questions, but
no,
I'm sure it's very applicable. Like, if on this map, do you feel more comfortable taking a fourth at this location or at this location, or does it really depend on how the game is unfolded?
I guess it depends on how it's unfolded and how you feel more comfortable. Spreading the bases far apart and you're going mutaling, it's going to give you more avenues to counterattack and to get behind an army. There's no real wrong choice, I guess, but actually there is, because this map, Daybreak, this version of Daybreak only has one geyser and less mineral patches.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot more sense to go for the bottom. So it is a rich recipe in geyser, so it'd be good for a quick fifth base, because you wouldn't have to put many drones on it, but yeah, definitely the bottom base on this map.
Okay, that's very, very true and very, very applicable. As for now, we will have that +2 weapons going to be going down here for KiLLeR, along with that blink. And actually, he's been able to establish himself a third. But how long is he going to be able to keep hold of this is the question.
Look at that giant amount of group units coming across the top as he draws all the units to the main base. So I think NesTea has the option of just crushing that third base if he really pulls all the units to the main base.
Yeah.
Or if he just brings everything to the third base, at the very least, he'll like kill the Nexus.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sentries are kind of getting into position, so make it a little bit harder.
Again, because he's gone... Ooh, actually really nice force fields there, splitting off a lot of the Zerglings and Roaches in the back there, and actually blinking forwards to try and deal with this. But right now the Nexus is very close to falling, and indeed it will fall. NesTea just limiting his opponent here to 2 bases in order to be able to just suffocate him.
He kind of overcommitted on that, and he lost every single bit of ground, and that's never a good thing. It could really be a great counter-attacking opportunity for KiLLeR.
Well, I mean, in this situation, does KiLLeR have any other option?
Not really, but it makes it a whole great deal easier to decide to counterattack if NesTea just gives him everything.
Yeah, so for now, I mean, NesTea is trying to replenish as many Mutalisks as he can do. Maybe not the best choice to replenish with against this counterattack.
No, it looks like NesTea's going to really focus on counterattacking and base trading rather than trying to even fight that army.
Yeah.
And all his overlords are in the middle, so he's supply capped himself greatly, which is going to really make this so much harder for a base trade. And even more overlords in the middle of nowhere. This is really good for KiLLeR.
Yeah, he's going to continue pushing forwards here, taking out this natural very, very quickly with these Blink Stalkers soon. Actually sending some up to the main. Meanwhile, the Mutalisks ripping apart the natural here of KiLLeR. And I think it comes to the point here where it's just a case of sneaking as many drones out as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's only, as far as I can tell, only one probe on the map that could possibly build buildings, and it's kind of like sitting next to an overlord, so if NesTea really wants to kill all the probes, he just has to look at his overlord and kill it. So I think this is looking very favorable for NesTea right now. That's an amazing amount of Mutalisks for a base trading scenario.
Yeah, that really is. He has more Mutalisks than his opponent has Stalkers, and the Stalker count is slowly decreasing here as Broodlings are picking away at them.
Yeah, he's still making Mutalisks, so his economy's not terrible. He's got his 4th base. It's still droned up, and he's still got plenty of spines in his 3rd, so it's very hard for KiLLeR to claim everything.
Yeah, KiLLeR now going to be revealed. No more Nexuses going down for him on NextEye, as he doesn't even have the money to be able to replenish one. The Broodlings chasing away the Stalkers once again, but do you think that NesTea can just straight up engage these Stalkers and win?
It's very possible, though it's a risk that you might not want to take.
Yeah.
Whoa, he's getting a bit aggressive. It looks like he will actually deem to try and army trade with him, and it does look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, even with those spine crawlers burrowing next to him. There you go. GG for game number 1, guys. Being able to take out NesTea's KiLLeR here on Daybreak to kick things off.
Very well played.
Yeah, that was a very, very interesting little game there. I have to empathize with exactly what you were saying, though. At that 3rd, sacrificed a lot of Zerglings and Roaches to get that base.
It really does trigger when you invest in such a fight to kill a 3rd base.
Yeah.
You throw away everything. It's pretty much guaranteed they're going to counterattack.
Yeah. Well, as we said, there's very little options he could. Yeah, you sit back and try and expand again. Ha, I'm on 5 bases. I'm not sure that's going to work too well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, KiLLeR looking a bit down and out there in game number 1. We're going to be jumping into game number 2 here in just a second as NesTea just trying to get these games done and dusted. Again, I believe the winner of this will advance on, or...
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes. So, the open bracket is slowly giving us a lot of careers.
Yeah.
And grubby.
And grubby, absolutely. Yes, it's a crazy open bracket.
So, good luck, have fun, guys. The countdown has begun for game number 2 here, as we are going to get on to Metropolis for that game. And Metropolis, for me, is a map that's a bit of a double-edged sword. On one end of the stick, I really like it because it produces those big macro games. On the other end of the stick, I dislike it for exactly the same reason, because the mid-game can be so laborious and tedious.
It's such a stalemate map because of the massive hallways you got to go up to fight. It makes for great positions for defense, and it's such a defender's advantage. It really is difficult, and especially in the ZVP, unless there's going to be like some sort of 2-base timing or like a fast 3rd-base timing, it's going to end up in like Brood Lords against Mothership, Vortex to victory or not, sort of thing, and that's never pleasant to watch.
It's entirely true, and it's not just for this matchup either. It's for a good amount of matchups that go on. Maybe not a few mirrors, maybe even some mirrors.
Oh man, ZBZ mirrors? This would be real boring. it's just the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Infestors and whoever gets good fungals, and it's not pleasant.
Oh, well. So, moving on to this game, we do have Complexity's KiLLeR going to be spawning in the western position here, as are Red Protoss. And over to the east, we do have LG IEM NesTea, currently 1 game up, looking to advance onto that group stage. Very, very important for him here, as the trip from Korea, it's not a small one.
It's not indeed. Not as big as an Australian trip,
That's
but
true.
It's not too
actually.
Sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay.
I undervalued your travel.
Oh, it's cool. I got to travel with someone this time, so it's not as bad as traveling 24 hours alone.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we had, was it a 10 pull?
11 pull, actually.
11 pull. Okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah. That's going to prevent KiLLeR from going next first.
It would force him to get a forge and possibly a cannon before he throws it up. Though on this map, I think it's rather easily blockable entrance, so I'm sure he's not too afraid. It'll just force him to delay his nexus a little bit.
Yep. And as such, and the NesTea from there can quite easily play a very. I mean, it doesn't put you. Realistically, how far does it really put you behind to be able to deny?
Not honestly, not that far behind. It's kind of like a chance aggression, and it stops him from pyloning your natural, and so you get your hatchery up rather the same amount of time. Just fast Zerglings, good map control, and he only made 1 set of Zerglings. So yeah, it's pretty much just as far as I think anyway, to chase the probe away. But the probe's still in the natural, so he's probably going to have to turn those Zerglings around.
Zerglings don't care about that probe mount. They're gone.
Zergs don't care. They're just going to try and bomb rush his base. But the cannon is almost finished as it is. So
seems so. Look at this. He's like dancing around with this initial drone. First drone though, being a ruse here. And sends out the second one.
Tricky play.
Nicely done there.
Very interesting.
For now, the Zerglings poke forwards, have a little bit of a look-see. Don't take any shots from that cannon, but know exactly what is going on behind there, despite not seeing the Nexus going down. But you can pretty much infer.
It's a good assumption, but I'm sure his overall will confirm.
Yeah.
And he gets his fast second queen. No fast 3rd base just yet. It's a little bit different kind of style. I'm guessing he's waiting for those Zerglings to clear out the probe before he decides to take that 3rd. Maybe some sort of maybe a little bit of a mind game, trying to like stop him from knowing if he's getting that 3rd or not. But
here we go. Incoming mind game. He's not going to take the 3rd.
Well, he's trying to hide the drone, as you see. So he sees it, so he's like, okay, yeah, you're going to take a 3rd. I'm going to pile on it. And mind game failed.
Get ready. He's not going to take it. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
All right.
Wait for it. Come on, die. Pylon.
Seriously, pylons, man.
Watch. He's going to go home. No, he's not going to go home.
Oh, well.
Dude, these are my tactics. On ladder, I'm like, no, I don't want to take that. I want to go like Ling Bane all in, and then they have 1 sentry. And
hey, man, like, that would work right about now. Look what he's got. He's making 1 zealot. He's got quite a bit of a gap next to their cannon, so Banelings could hit that cannon regardless of that Zealot. So
yeah, they could.
These things can happen.
That's a squishy wall.
That's a very squishy wall.
So for now, we have 5 extra drones on the way for NesTea. He is just going full ho macro as he is just getting our Queens galore as well as those drones. And back in the Protoss base, plenty of gas going down here. Now, this map, whilst we spoke of the double-edged sword of the hyper macro game, 50 minutes, oh my god, when is it ever going to end? There's also those very, very normal 2 base players that Protoss do like on this map. I mean, how do you feel as a Zerg really defending that on this map specifically?
I find Immortal all-ins can be very powerful on this map. There's a lot of really good chokes for force fields and cutting up armies in half. Yeah, absolutely. Like even like straight into the natural, there's like such good chokes for force fields. It really depends on how well NesTea prepares for such a thing, of course, and it can be very strong timings. It's probably the hardest timing I've found from 2 base.
Yeah. And I think that's what we might end up seeing here, depending on if he ends up getting an observer first or not.
Very possible, very possible. He got those gases mighty quick, so he could be really investing into it.
So Overlord looking to try and push in here, but not really going to be able to get too much of an opportunity. Stalker already zoning that guy out, and with more probes on the way. Now, if he stops at like around the 44 probe mark, it's really, really a big indication of that kind of 2 base play.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, you still can go up to more, but it's not obviously as strong. So
absolutely right. And he's making 3 more gateways down the bottom of his natural.
Hidden.
Yeah, he's making an observer straight up.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I have to wait a little bit longer to see what he's going to do.
I mean, this always gives me the inkling that it is going to be that kind of expansion play, and these gateways are just here primarily for some kind of macro leading into a third. But he still can obviously go for that Immortal push if he wanted to.
Looks like he's putting down a Twilight Council in the main base too, so it could be very defensive play. It does look like it'd be a 3rd base at some point with Immortal Blinkstalker sort of defense.
Oh, well, especially since he's getting that 2nd observer out now as well. He just wants as much vision on the map, potentially down the attack paths, and trying to scout out what his opponent's going to be teching to, in order to be able to just make the judgments and calls necessary to not only defend, but also produce the correct composition. So, really nice little play here by KiLLeR. Got that one in the end.
And NesTea kind of hasn't been able to get any kind of information. The only kind of information he's got is that there's at least one, like a 3rd gas at the natural, but he's going for some blind spores just in case Phoenix or DT make an appearance. And yeah, he's kind of just playing blind from here. I'm sure he's really anxious to find out what's going to be. He's making a Roach Warren and a Spire while making Zerglings.
Where is that Spire? I can't... okay, there it is in the back. So
Ninja Spire.
What'll be going on with that?
Yeah, he's kind of just sitting on 3 bases, 3 saturated bases, just trying to, I guess, figure out what the next step is. He hasn't found that 3rd base yet.
But interestingly enough, Moonglade, this was the very similar tactic that we saw in game number 1. The Zergling Roach Mutalisk.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seems very, very powerful mid-game, but as a transition into the late game, how do you think it works out?
Yeah, it seems like a kind of a strategy you want to do a lot of damage with.
Yeah.
But if you want to transition out of that, you got to do it rather quickly. You got to get to Infestors, Spine Crawlers, which is really easy on this map. And yeah, I think it's a good way to start at least, especially against people that open Immortals. They obviously are not going to be favoring Templars or Archons or anything like that, so it gives you the option to do some good damage.
Yeah. Now, coming to unit counting station, we do have 82 drones right now to the 61 probes. 3rd base has been pretty much established here by KiLLeR, but there is always NesTea here opening up those counter-attack paths available to him, and even sending in the Changeling here to have a little bit of a look and see what his opponent has.
Hopefully KiLLeR has actually realized that the rocks have been broken.
Yeah.
So
does he see it?
He does see it. He probably would have seen it getting hit and stuff, but it obviously doesn't make a noise if you don't have vision of what's hitting it, so he might have overlooked it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we have the +2 weapons, +1 on the way here for KiLLeR. 12 Zerglings as well as 3 Mutalisks on the way. He's reached the drone count that he wants, 87 right now.
Very nice. And yeah, he's got a great fleet of Mutas just flying over.
Yeah. Ooh, actually, yeah, that's a very great pack.
I don't think KiLLeR's really expecting it, though he's getting a cautionary cannon in his main, and so far none in his natural, and 1 in his 3rd.
So taking the precautions necessary. I think he ended up seeing the Spire, right? Or we'll see. No, actually, he never scouted it.
And here comes a great Zergling Muter, sort of similar to last game, but KiLLeR is really ready for it this time.
Those are some nice force fields.
Yeah, he was spot on with that. He's going to go straight for the Forge, stop those Stalkers getting too good against the Muters.
Nicely done there, limiting those upgrades.
It's a great snipe right there.
Yeah.
Really
was
good.
he researching +3, or I didn't notice if he was?
I think he was.
Right.
Yeah, he's doing it again on the second Forge.
Oh yeah, he cancelled the armor upgrade. Oh, did it just finish as well? Actually, I think it just finished. So yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So queuing that up right after that armor upgrade. Thermal Lance on the way now, as well as that Colossus production. Second Forge being thrown down here to be able to continually try and deal with the aggression here of NesTea as he goes for the Baneling Nest as well. Did that just finish up? I think it did. Yes, it did. Awesome. So
yeah, Bling Bling Muter. That's always a cool combo.
Yep.
It's kind of hard in these positions. There's so many chokes and so many sentries.
Yep.
Ooh, and NesTea trying to snipe the Nexus here. He might get it. There's definitely enough Zerglings to kind of take the hits for a while. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And he saved half the Zerglings. Great snipe by NesTea.
This seems like something NesTea has practiced just time and time again. Going Ling Bling Muter or Ling Roach Muter, and then just striking at that third in a furious assault to the point where, well, I mean, what does he do now? He just establishes the base again, but if you go to the income tab, look at how far NesTea is ahead.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
And NesTea is just setting up for any kind of counterattack with a massive spine wall. It's guarding all 5 bases. So that's just absolutely brilliant, and it's so good on this map. And he hasn't even decided to go Hive yet, so it looks like he's going to be sticking around for a little while with the Ling Bling Muter.
Oh, he's going to get the Forge once again, denying those upgrades from coming down here. He just wants to constantly limit the efficiency and efficiency of everything KiLLeR wants to do, not only income, but also the unit efficiency as well. NesTea playing a very, very kind of strong game here, pushing in and gets plunk.
Yeah, but too bad there's like a ridiculous amount of Muters right there, so it's not too worried about it. It's like almost 30 Muters, and that's so much damage.
Yeah, it really is, especially since it's getting +2 as well on the way.
Yeah, and it's still no Templar tech, nothing to, no Archons, anything to really scare them away or storm them. So NesTea is going to feel really comfortable for a while, and he might even be expecting some sort of Stalker Colossus all in at some point.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like the only thing you can really assume from all this is like, yeah, he's massing Stalkers and Colossi. He's obviously going to just go for a massive attack at some point, but he doesn't seem to be setting himself up for any later.
Well, we were speaking earlier about NesTea trying to cripple the economy of his opponent, and with these Banelings in the position that they're in here over to the middle of the Protoss bases here, I think that he might just be looking to kill a few probes.
Yeah, he could even just run that right into the Nexus and it'd almost kill it. If his Muters were there, it'd definitely snipe it.
And meanwhile, Hive morphing in now, so he will be able to go up to that higher tech, but KiLLeR realizing that it's time, it's that kind of time in the game, and as such, oh, but he actually sees it with the Overlord, Observer as well, so he knows that that is going on. And how many Mutalisks does he actually? 37 Mutalisks right now.
Oh, it's insane. It's so insane.
He's adding on more.
Gas. He's 10 gas. I think NesTea's just having fun right now.
You think?
He's so ahead. I don't think he's feeling very threatened at all. He's really got the Protoss into like a terrible position.
Yeah.
And he's even feels so comfortable as to trade with a massive Stalker ball. So yeah, NesTea is having a lot of fun right now.
Yeah, well, he's got even more Banelings actually morphed in down at the bottom. He does want to just crash these into a Nexus.
He's just waiting for the opportunity time.
But unfortunately for him, he doesn't know that there's a few pylons there blocking that way. So,
and now there's a probe that scouts the ball of Banelings. So maybe, yeah, it seems like KiLLeR is kind of ready for it now.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting location for that infestation pit. Over in this middle bit here.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
For now, throwing down an extra Spire to be able to continue those upgrades. Greater Spire morphing in as well. All the Banelings ended up getting cleaned up, but there's still Mutalisks actually pushing into his main once again, ripping apart the low number of Stalkers here.
Oh,
he just blinked forwards, but
look at that. He's not even worried anymore. And here comes the rest of them, so he might want to run away now. But
he's up to 104 drones right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, every time he loses a Mutalist, it just means more Broodlords are going to be coming.
Yeah.
But he's already setting up for it, making 9 Corruptors at the moment.
He has a massive bank. He's going to expand down to this middle location here, as well as this middle location. So we're soon going to be rising to the point where, unless KiLLeR can actually move out onto the map and establish some mid-map presence, it's going to be 7 bases versus 4.
It really feels like KiLLeR has just lost too many Stalkers in these trades.
Yeah.
So he's never going to be comfortable leaving the base. Because if actually Zerglings or Banelings were like added to the Muta mix, there's just nothing that's going to stop them.
Yeah.
But it's not even matter at this point because he's going mass Broodlords, and with such an economy advantage, it's going to be so difficult for KiLLeR to find a way back into this. But he is making a mothership, so there is always hope of a Vortex. But unless he makes some Archons with this mothership, it's not going to mean much if he gets a Vortex.
Yeah, and does he even have a Twilight Templar Archives down?
I haven't seen one being made.
No, not do I.
Actually, he would have to have one, wouldn't he?
Would he? Why? Templar Archives? Has he got High Templar somewhere?
No, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Okay.
You only need a Citadel to get Mothership. Sorry, man.
So for now, he will actually shark in here with a few Zerglings. Not going to be able to get in. Nice block there by KiLLeR. But meanwhile, those Mutalisks ripping apart some probes in the main as well, killing off 8. And as such, also killing a few Stalkers. But actually, KiLLeR mounting a little bit of a counter-offensive, going to deny one of those bases from going up. But look how many Broodlords he already has, and his Infestor count is going to be rising very, very soon. Yeah, he is sitting on such a sweet ball behind so many Spine Crawlers. He must be feeling really indestructible right now. Yeah. I mean, in essence, yes, supply counts are equal. But if you look at how much money either player has, that's a bit of a different story.
Yeah, and the quality of army is like Colossi, Immortal, Stalker, not so good against Infested Broodlord.
Yeah.
There is a mothership, and it just been made, so it's slowly gathering some energy. Not for another 40 seconds or so.
Wait a minute, why are there destructible rocks on this island? I did actually notice that.
Yeah, I haven't seen this version of this map before. It's usually a whole lot of creep. I guess it makes it a bit easier for other races.
Yeah, that's true. So you can actually kill that off a lot quicker than you can have to wait for a minute and a bit's worth of creep to dissipate.
Yeah, exactly.
So it looks like he might end up nidusing this location and then expanding over to there as well.
He's finally made a Templar Archives at last.
Yeah.
He's Crotowing Storm, so yeah, he's gonna have a pretty cool army if he gets a little bit longer, a little bit more time to build up.
And for now, he's just getting so many air upgrades out for the Broodlords and Corruptors here, so he's going to be in an amazing position, even if his opponent wanted to transition to, say, the very popular carrier tech, even if he had the economy to do it, which right now I don't think he does, to be able to go up against the bank that NesTea has. But Corruptors with +3 weapons take out carriers so fast.
Oh, ridiculously fast.
So, for now, do have more Broodlords on the way, Storm going down, as well as Warp Prism speed. And the Mutalisks looking to shark around, maybe even just Nidus this location as well, to be able to expand over here. The drones are already on the way to be able to expand over here.
Oh boy.
And there you go, throwing down spines.
Yeah, why not?
It's a good choice, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, NesTea's looking good. But here comes the Warp Prism, and those spines are up, so this could do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
5 Zealots going to kill that Nidus and then stop all this stuff coming up.
Interestingly enough, though, this is exactly what I was talking about Metropolis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
But, I mean, even then, NesTea has been in a pretty good spot for the last half of this game, maybe even more. So, he could have potentially finished it, but...
Yeah, I guess he's biding his time, just making that perfect ball.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing storms going off. Wow.
Well, if there was ever a way to bring you back into a game, that's one way of doing it.
Absolutely.
He's killed off 17 workers with those. So that's pretty well done.
Looks like he's kind of left that Warp Prism by itself now. Oh wait, it's come back out. No gas.
Run away.
No energy.
You gonna drop the stops? Nah. So for now, we have quite a nice little contingent of units out in the middle here for KiLLeR, but again, it's not really going to compete with 15 Broodlords and 5 Infestors. I guess ideally he would like a few more Infestors here to be able to complement this.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a real key amount of Infestors that you end up going for, or is just as much as possible?
It's always good to have as many as you can have, but obviously you don't want too many. Like,
yeah.
I reckon like around 8 to 10 is really nice.
Yep.
It gives you enough Fungals to really cover your Broodlords and drop Infested Terrans and neural the Mothership if you get a chance.
Yeah, okay. And then in a similar vein, when it comes to balancing your Broodlord to Corruptor count, because sometimes that can be a bit iffy. You see some Zergs overextending, making too many Broodlords, and then once some air transition comes along, they don't really have any Corruptors left over to be able to deal with it.
Absolutely. That's definitely a transition you gotta really scout for. You don't want to be caught with mass voids on you. But at the same time, that's why it's so important to have a lot of infestors.
Yeah.
Because you can at least cover yourself for a while with fungals.
And KiLLeR is actually doing a pretty good job of limiting his opponent in the middle here.
Yeah.
So he's trying to stick him to those 5 bases.
Yeah, it's really good. And he's really got himself back into this just because NesTea hasn't really been aggressive with the Broodlords yet. And this could be his downfall. Though, to be fair, this map does really favor like this kind of stagnant, standoffish play.
Yeah.
Though I must say, NesTea's creep spread kind of stopped at his bases, so this is going to make it a lot harder for those spine crawls to cover the Broodlords at least.
It is indeed, as we have Warp Prism going for the harassment once again on the island. Another Warp Prism actually going in here. High Templars abound as they have quite a bit of Storm as well, as the Storm drops do land on some of those.
This takes everything out.
Kaboom, kaboom. 26 worker kills right now for KiLLeR. Unit counting station, 55 drones to the 68. And looks like NesTea looking to push out into the middle of the map with his Doom army.
Yeah, but we have a 200 mothership awaiting their arrival, so this could be very scary for KiLLeR. I mean, sorry, for NesTea, especially if NesTea doesn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Just it only takes like one beautiful vortex and it's all over.
Too true. I mean, he still has that Warp Prism full of High Templar, so they're going to be gaining energy, maybe to eventually, I don't know, drop them in the back, try and feed back the infestors.
Yeah,
would be a nice touch.
That would be such a great move.
Yeah,
if he could get majority of those infestors, it's going to make it so much harder for NesTea.
And meanwhile, he's just sharking around in the middle of his defenses here. Just, I mean, how many Archons does he have as well? 6 Archons right now to be able to complement those vortexes once they end up coming along.
Perfect.
And NesTea doesn't want to be too clumped up here, moving into this location, but actually he's drawn his entire opponent away with those Mutalisks, who did not get the High Templars in that Warp Prism. Just barely.
Just off. And now NesTea's in a kind of a great position. He's going to be pushing the 4th and 5th, dropping a whole infestor wall.
Yeah.
Infested Terran wall. And this is looking really good.
Well, I mean, if he cripples these 2 bases, that's the majority of mining gone for KiLLeR here. So limiting him and then just maybe retreating via the air, maybe sacrificing the infestors off that.
Maybe even Nidusing to escape would be great.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Please.
That would be really cool.
That would be awesome. But
I think he kind of invested too much energy into this infested Terran wall, though. Yeah. Now he's got no fungals, no neural parasite, and KiLLeR's just going to run over these Broodlords. There's nothing stopping him. He can blink under them at any time, and he is.
Could indeed. Vortex goes down, missing a lot of those Broodlords, but the second Vortex right on top of it catches a lot of them as well. He's blinking in from the back, killing off a lot of those remaining Broodlords. And right now, with this Colossus in tow, the Broodlings just aren't really getting any DPS off on these Stalkers.
Absolutely not. And yeah, this is...
Uh-oh.
This is kind
of... brutal.
I didn't really know if that was really worth it for NesTea, losing his whole army for one Nexus and all the drones at the other. But of course he has a massive bank, so he can always just sit there and wait for more. He's got quite a number of infestors now. That's 11. That's a lot better than what he was dealing with before. And yeah, I guess he's just going to wait for the next ball of Brutals to come. Hopefully the counter-attack doesn't reach his spine wall before then. Though he does have an amazing amount of spine crawlers regardless.
Nidus unloading once again on the island to be able to get this economy in check here for NesTea. KiLLeR is looking to, well, I think after losing that 4th and realizing his economy is like shot, I think maybe he wants to try and make something happen here. It's going to be difficult though with that defensive position set up by NesTea. And again, Metropolis, man, this just, it always happens.
Always happens. And yeah, that's so many spine crawlers, man.
Yep.
I've never made that many.
You've never made that.
I'm doing it wrong.
In your whole career?
Okay, maybe I have.
A few more.
Maybe in better I used to do that a lot, but since then, I've never really thought to invest so much.
Well, NesTea, KiLLeR even going for 3 Nexus at the same time here, trying to get that expansion up and running, as we do have still 14 Broodlords, 4 more morphing in, and plenty more Corruptors on the way to be able to complement these infestors. But again, KiLLeR is just sat in the middle, killing off his own units to be able to free up some supply.
Yeah, well, hey, he's actually got a better bank than NesTea right now. And if he can secure these 2 extra bases, then he's going to be actually really ahead.
Yeah.
And he can really think about doing some cool transitions, maybe in the Stargate at some point. Because NesTea doesn't seem to be favoring any Corruptors whatsoever, just infestors and Broodlords.
Yeah, as we have the Warp Prism diving in again at the top here with that those High Templars in, and at the same time, though...
Oh, he gets a Neural Parasite and wastes that Vortex.
Nicely done there by
That's
NesTea.
brilliant. That's going to give him a lot of time and a lot of a great chance to do a push right now. No fear of Vortex whatsoever.
All those units get pushed out of the middle there. There weren't even that many units for NesTea actually in that Vortex. Just a lot of Stalkers, so nice play there by him.
Yeah, and
meanwhile,
this Mothership's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. I think KiLLeR forgot about it. And it looks like NesTea's going to kill it with 3 Corruptors. Oh no, he just decided to take it for himself instead.
Yeah, why not have that Zerg Mothership? That's fantastic. Cloaking those Broodlings, a very important skill there.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Cloaked Broodlords, man, that's sick. And it looks like he's really... Whoa! Beautiful feedbacks, but still a couple of fumbles remain. But these Stalkers could do some great blinks right now.
Yeah, those are really nice storms on those Broodlings. He's going to blink forwards, trying to focus them down. They are all quite low, but even some transfuses in the mix here.
That's
try and keep them alive.
Man. But yeah, it looks like, I think these Broodlords are going to go down. This is going to be terrible for NesTea. He is so low on gas right now.
Well, there's not that many Stalkers left over. There's 7 Broodlords left here, and it's going to be so very close. He needs to blink forwards once again, trying to deal with this.
He's kind of forgot about it. He's letting his units just attack move all the Broodlings, and now he blinks in. And this is looking definitely in KiLLeR's favor right now, especially with those 2 bases now up. He can just keep warping and things, and he could probably counterattack before NesTea builds up another ball. But it looks like NesTea's followed up with mass Zerglings. And it's probably not the best follow-up. He's probably hoping his Broodlords would last a little bit longer so the Zerglings could get there in time, but now there's just Colossi Archons waiting. 3-3-3 Colossus Archons, which is a pretty sick upgrade.
If there was anything good enough to take out 90 Zerglings, I'll tell you something, it's Colossus Archon,
it's probably going to be like 2 Colossus to kill that many at this point.
Very, very much so. I'm not quite sure how NesTea's going to play from here. Again, from the very word go, it almost seemed like he had the game in the bag, but just allowing KiLLeR to recuperate his losses and re-establish himself.
He wasn't cost effective enough with his massive Broodlord armies.
Yeah.
He kind of he got them thrown away at points, either by bad positioning or getting just feedback way too much.
Yeah, so for now we have more Corruptors on the way, but again, KiLLeR's army is looking fearsome. The one thing that's going in NesTea's favor is his opponent does not have the Mothership. So if he's able to get enough Broodlords out, then in theory he could end up, positioning them in such a way that his opponent really can't close the gap, because there's only really Archons here for anti-air, not too many Stalkers left.
And these Zerglings are just running into the main base of KiLLeR, and I don't really know if he needs to kill that Nexus or these cannons. He's going to get the Robotics Bay, which is cool, but that was like 90 Zerglings, man. I don't know if that was worth it.
If there was any position to actually attack with these Zerglings, this position is probably not the best, because you want to, try and kill off your opponent's economy.
Yeah,
but there's not an economy left.
Going to the 5th base.
Yeah.
But, oh well, I guess he wants to distract him at least for a little while. Try and buy some more time so he can make that Broodlord army once again. Though his economy's kind of burnt out, man. He's got no gases left in all 4 of his bases. His only base with gas would be the gas at his 6th on the island. So it's going to take a while to make a lot of Broodlords at this point. And KiLLeR, with 2 extra brand new bases, is going to just be able to warp in any amount of army at any point.
He's got some Broodlords morphing in, but I can't find them for the life. There we go.
Yeah.
Found them. So, yep, 3 Broodlords on the way. He still has a little bit of gas to be able to make a few more. And from there, he could... but again, I needed to point out the other factor of, if he's given time to make Broodlords, then yeah, he could get a good engagement. But that is always going to give KiLLeR time to get that Mothership up as well. Absolutely. And then once that Mothership comes out, look at this ridiculous army he's going to have.
So many Archons for that toilet, man. It's 12 Archons. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, I actually don't think NesTea could even fathom of defeating that kind of composition.
I don't even think the Mothership is necessary at this point. He just needs to have a massive amount of Stalkers, Archons, Colossi, and just blink in. Because, NesTea's economy is burnt out.
As Broodlings rain down on this position, he blinks forward, actually being able to get one of those Broodlords. Yeah. But at the sacrifice of quite a few Stalkers in the process. Void Ray is now in production here for KiLLeR to be able to keep transitioning. through to be able to kill off some of these Broodlords. But how many Corruptors do we have out right now? 13. So that's still a nice retainment of that anti-air for him there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it looks like KiLLeR's just decided to go through the spine wall. He realizes the Broodlords are out of position and the economy is very low for NesTea, so he's got a chance here. And yeah, he's just going to completely burn through all these spine crawlers, and I don't think NesTea has much hope anymore.
Not much at all, as he does get a few more Stalker kills down on this base here, but for now he loses one or two of those Broodlords as well. Archons and Colossus just powering through all of these spine crawlers. How can NesTea respond to this? He has 2 Broodlords trying to tickle away at these many Archons.
It's not looking too good right now.
No. 76 Zerglings once again in production here. But again, that really didn't work out too well like the last time.
This is like the perfect Zergling killing army. If I was to make an army to kill Zerglings, it would be this.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're about to see why, as these Zerglings melt as they try and run away.
And these 2 Broodlords shooing the Protoss army away.
Kind of tickle at this point. Oh, they get an Archon, that's alright.
Yeah, pretty good. 41 minutes into this game right now, and I'm pretty sure it could have ended a long time ago if it was at the hands of NesTea, but NesTea just, again, not really wanting to go for that, just wanting to play for the longer game. And
I really think creep spread could have had a big part to play in ending this game earlier. If it didn't end like where it ends now, and it was kind of like crept more towards KiLLeR's base, he'd have a lot better positioning for all of his attacks.
But, I mean, that being said, I mean, NesTea is not giving up. He is still nidusing the mining bases over on the islands, and he's going to try and re-establish bases down there. And, I mean, aside from the Void Rays that NesTea has out right now, he can't really pressure those too much. Where's the mothership? Did it die again? Did he even make it again?
I don't think he made it again.
I saw one in production, but then...
Oh, interesting.
Maybe it... Maybe he assumed that, well, yeah, actually my army is just good enough to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, maybe he just decided Void Rays would be enough. And,
So, Zergling's going to run away. Storm's not the best friend of the Zerglings. And Storm's going down on the mining base once again here of NesTea, ripping apart those drones.
That's so good right now. That's probably the best option for KiLLeR.
Yeah, it's looking pretty tough for NesTea. I mean, he's going to lose so many Zerglings. These Archons just going to power forward, kill the remaining Broodlords. Nice transfuses to be able to keep them alive for quite a while here, actually. But once these disintegrate, then, I mean, NesTea has nothing left. He has 5 to 10 Corruptors. There you go, GG for game number 2, guys. Metropolis, the beast that it is.
The beast. Such a great position for NesTea early on.
Yeah.
Then you kind of just let it slip. He just didn't have any aggression, so he kind of let those 5 bases happen regardless.
Yeah.
And from there, it's just a matter of whose death ball wins.
And again, if you are able to, put that aggressive, that aggression down and make it work early on, and then you don't follow it up. On some maps that can be okay because, the 4th and 5th bases aren't necessarily as easy to defend as they are on Metropolis. And Metropolis is the perfect map to say, well, yeah, I'm going to get these 5 bases and I am going to turtle hard and never move out until I'm maxed.
Exactly.
So let's get on to game number 3 here, guys, to seal the deal on this series. Both these players probably very tired at this point.
I can imagine so. NesTea was looking rather tired earlier today. In his last matchup against Puma, he looked quite unwell. So I don't know why, whether it's jet lag or what.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to be jumping in just a second. ESV Ohana to get this wrapped up. And again, guys, the winner of this will go on to that group stage. So very, very important here. I mean, despite both players being tired, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like another lengthy macro game, as long as one of them wasn't able to establish, massive early leads. So
absolutely. This is where they traveled from Korea to Germany for this match.
This one map, guys.
One map.
On Ohana. So let's jump into the game. As up to the top left-hand corner, we will have the gentleman that you just saw on the screen just there, Complexity's KiLLeR, spawning as our blue Protoss. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, we do have IEM NesTea going to be spawning here as our red Zergy. So, Ohana, how do you feel about this map in terms of Zerg going up against the Protoss?
It's a short map.
Yep.
So it's good for 2 base timings, absolutely. Of course, it's always important to see if the Zerg finds it or not. But besides that, it's very good Forge Fast Expand map. And it'll be interesting to see if NesTea tries to go for a hatch first again or anything cheeky like that. Or go for an early pool, because an early pool on this map would probably be a great deal better than an early pool on cross-map Metro. Because obviously they're going to be ready for it when they scout it.
Yeah, very true, very true. Again, as you alluded to earlier, the shorter rush distances just makes it a little bit more effective.
Gives you a bit of a better aggression. And obviously on this map, we're not going to find such a stalemate. Because a lot more things can happen, 3-base timings and whatnot.
Now, you're very right. Very open, as well as those short rush distances.
Holding the 4th base is a lot more tricky.
Yeah.
It makes for very interesting games.
It does indeed. And I'm really glad that Blizzard in general adopted the idea of including and adopting the map makers from the community. Because the maps that we've seen from the community, i.e. Cloud Kingdoms, Ohana, Daybreak, for example, all these maps have really worked their way not only into tournament play, but worked their way into the heart of the player.
They are some of the best maps out there.
They are.
Absolutely.
They are.
I myself absolutely love these maps.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to the community for making them.
It's fantastic. So for now, we will have the Nexus on the way for KiLLeR. Nexus first, an awesome little choice there. As the spawning pool down at a relatively normal time. And the hatch rate on the way, not being blocked too much there.
Yeah, very, very brave to go Nexus first like that against the 14 pool. If NesTea decided to, he could try and stick some Zerglings up. He sees the Forge just being made now. So, but obviously no Zerglings in production because he got that hatchery down straight away, so there's no rush to stop a probe. Obviously he'd want to get a set out soon enough to get the so he can get his 3rd base up rather safely.
Yeah. Well, once again, we're seeing KiLLeR go for Nexus, Forge, Pylon, then I'm wondering if he'll go for Cannon now. I think, that's a very, very wise decision. Again, you can get to the point where you go for the gateway before Cannon, but that's normally before that Pylon as well.
Yeah,
so
very true.
It would be a bit of an overstatement to really go for that gateway afterwards.
Hiding his 3rd drone while his Zerglings go for a scout, but that probe is right behind, so KiLLeR is stopping it again with the pylon. This guy is good at just ninjaing that probe in at the last second.
He is indeed, and it gets away with its life, all of its life in fact.
Oh, yeah.
So for now,
great.
Gateway on the way, double gas is going down for Complexity's KiLLeR, so again, he has a wealth of options. There's a lot he could do here, and if he ends up throwing down that robo, it really is up to whether he gets the Observer or an Immortal first, how he's spending that Chrono Boost, because I personally, I don't think actually we've seen a single Immortal all-in during this tournament thus far.
Yeah, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah. So, 7 core on the way as well. Predictable. Need that 7 core.
Very predictable. You definitely do need that. If you don't get that, you'd be in a bit of trouble.
Pretty important.
It's kind of like the gateway to everything Protoss have. So
the gateway, I see what you did there. That was nice. That was nice. As for now, we have that 3rd base being established here for NesTea. And Queen's on the way as well to be able to bolster those forces and get those lava going.
No +1 yet for KiLLeR, though he does have the gas and the minerals.
That is an interesting factor. Now, without that +1.
Something interesting like Stargate or something? I'm not entirely sure.
There's a Pylon going down on the high ground here. Pylon finishing in the main as well, so if we're going to see some kind of tech go down, might end up being near this Nexus. It's a little bit hard to get to that location with Overlords, especially if you're trying to bust in there. Because, it's a very, very long distance for them to actually traverse.
Yeah, absolutely.
And take in the 3rd and 4th gases. So, something tech-based.
Very interesting, very interesting. Kind of standard play from NesTea. Just droning up on 3 base, as Zergs do. Getting a rather early Roach Warren.
Yeah.
Before 6:30, so he's wary about all-ins, but with the 3rd and 4th gas coming up, he does not need to be afraid.
Yep, and that robo is on the way here for KiLLeR, so what option is he going to take in terms of that first unit? Again, if it's 1 or 2 observers, almost guaranteed to see that 3rd go down. Because again, he just wants to keep an eye on exactly how his opponent is going to be teching, exactly how he's going to be pushing across him. And to be fair though, on this map, it's almost as if 3 observers can be, because of the way in which the middle is so open, unless you have control of the watchtowers, getting that many observers can be very, very important. And look at that, Twilight Castle also going down.
It does really seem to favor this style against the safe 3 base. Really fears that Stefano style, I guess. And And yeah, he's just going to play just another standard game. And I guess it worked for him last game, not so much the game before. But I guess we'll see if NesTea decides to go for another Beetling sort of aggression build.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Leia morphing in, 9 drones were in production, so he's vastly superior, right, well, not vastly superior, of course. He's at 62 drones right now to the 49 probes, and we do have those observers on the way once again here, so KiLLeR probably looking to grab himself a third base. Yeah, with that second observer going down.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely going to try and grab that third base in just a little bit. Now, what does NesTea do from here? He's producing 5 roaches as well as getting +1 range weapons and speed.
It could be that he's decided to, he's just going to stop him from getting this third base this game. He's just going to do a Stefano-esque kind of roach ling aggression, possibly into mutas later. He seems to really love his mutas. I wouldn't be surprised. And he's got the Overlord just waiting. And he sees that probe, so he's like, yeah, it's probably going to be the same thing again.
Yeah, indeed. That pylon already going down there. He does spot that Nexus on the way as well. So 16 Zerglings as well as more roaches in production here, almost certainly wanting to look to bust that third. Just in a different way to how we've seen it in games number 1 and 2 with the Mutalisks.
This is a great map to do it on, such a short distance, such an open third.
Just going to wait for KiLLeR Constitution, you think, or actually push out before then?
I think he'd definitely wait for it. Otherwise, force fields just get so much better against such slow roaches.
Yeah. So for now, Macro Hatch down on this third as well. I love Macro Hatches on 3 base for Zerg, just to be able to give you that extra addition of lava.
It's so essential for going Ling Roach. You definitely need a 4th hatchery.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just get so rich. Just can't spend enough lava.
I think the only thing we're seeing that's sort of lackluster in NesTea's play is really the kind of creep spread that we're seeing from him. He's just been focusing his entire energy and not really additional queens on getting that creep going.
Yeah.
Just 1 creep tumor, slowly kind of going from this location.
Indeed, it's definitely not as impressive as it has been in the past.
Yeah.
And KiLLeR is making a great SimCity for any kind of aggressive Link Roach play, and he's already got them all out and so many sentries. I don't think he's very worried right now. Ooh, trying to take out the... He does take out the pylon and gets a few roaches in, but these roaches are going to die pretty quickly.
Oh, meanwhile, he realized that the sentries were out of position slightly, sneaks in a few Zerglings on that counter, but look how many of those units he's sealed in there.
Wow, he gets that Artosis pylon, and that's amazing.
Indeed it is, as he's going to continue to push in once again, as the roaches do end up dying here, sealing them in. But now he's still on 150 supply to the KiLLeR's 100.
Oh, this is looking great for NesTea.
And he's going to continue to batter down this wall here. There's 2 Immortals dishing out quite a bit of damage, but the sentry count and the energy count, most importantly, is slowly being whittled down here for KiLLeR.
This is looking rather good for NesTea. He doesn't seem to be transitioning anytime soon. He hasn't got any extra gases mining just yet. He seems to think he can really end it now that he's started to do so much damage. And I tend to agree. He's really burned all the sentries' energy, and it's just a matter of getting enough units to run in and kill all those Immortals.
Oh, and now with those force fields, he's sealed himself off. He's going to be able to get this third base for absolutely free. So NesTea luring his opponent into a false sense of security, as it were, and as such, snipes that Nexus lickety split.
It's so good for NesTea. It could not be better. And from now, it's going to be a lot harder for NesTea to kind of end it if they're just sitting on the high ground here. So I wouldn't be surprised if he transitions to. Well, it looks like he's transitioning to right to Infestors. So, yeah, good choice. Very safe choice.
Yeah, very much so indeed. He did, I mean, he killed that Forge before, so that stunted the production of that +2 weapons, which could have been very, very useful in those engagements, doing just that little extra bit of damage to those Roaches and Zerglings. But there's so many Roaches and Zerglings. Would it have even mattered?
Yeah, exactly right. And yeah, I guess it's just going to be a stalemate until KiLLeR decides to try and take that third again.
Yeah. 4th on the way for NesTea, down to the bottom left-hand corner. 10 more drones in production right now, rocketing up to a 70+ drone count. Pathogen Gland's going to be going down, as well as that +2 ranged weapons and +1 melee. So he's really adamant about committing to this Zergling kind of Roach play.
I think it's a great decision. Yeah? It's just a matter of fighting Sentry, Stalker, Immortal. And the best way to do that, Festers, Ling Roach. And with upgrades, it makes it even that much easier. So. And he's stuck on 2 base, and it's going to be 4 base soon. It's just a matter of time, I think. Oh, Mass Fine's coming up too, so NesTea's got a kind of a fallback going as well. He doesn't want to make any mistakes with this one.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it would be very difficult here for NesTea to make a similar thing happen that what happened in Metropolis, because of the way in which the map is laid out, because of the way in which he's positioned right now. And as you said, he's learning those mistakes. He doesn't want that to happen again. He's not going to let up with this. He just wants to wait until his opponent is starved out on 2 bases and have my nice win.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's sitting comfortably right now. He doesn't want to waste too many units. Fighting up a ramp against 4 Immortals. Oh, taking a lot of damage right now. You should probably consider moving back a little bit away from the ramp and just waiting for KiLLeR to commit to a Nexus before crushing it.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's doing such a thing.
It's interesting, as you know, in that game on Metropolis, I actually said that, you know, he's lost his 3rd. Maybe he's going to go for like some kind of all-in play. But you know, he was able to establish the bases and continue from there. But again, with this being the map that it is, I don't think that that's going to work out unless NesTea kind of really somehow overextends in a very, very strange way.
Absolutely. And with that Colossus there, it looks like NesTea is just going to try and do a counterattack, but there's 3 cannons waiting up there, and he's only waiting down there. Oh, wasting a few too many units here, but NesTea's still looking rather strong with his tech and his fire coming up. But he doesn't want to throw away too much, or KiLLeR's going to get really confident and just push when he has the right ball.
Yeah, too true. The adrenal glands going down now, as well as that Spire on the way. In fact, didn't he already have a Spire, and now he's getting a second one for upgrades? No, actually, that's the first Spire. Not keeping on top of the lava injects.
Going straight to Broodlords.
Interestingly enough, their spawn counts are rather even.
Yeah, it's kind of actually worrying. I think NesTea may have committed a little too much to try and counterattack, and he's got a completely defenseless 4th base. So it's all a matter of KiLLeR just going to that 4th base and killing it. There are 6 investors, but with the amount of Colossus he has, he can pretty much safely take out that 4th and get back to his base.
Yeah. Now, NesTea is getting that 5th again, but rightly, as you said, it is slightly worrying. If this happened for a 2nd game in a row, that would be a little scary.
That would be very disheartening.
Yeah.
I'd be very sad if that happened.
Well, he's got that greatest fire on the way. The Zerglings and Roaches just kind of dance around this army, but how many infestors does he have out right now? 6, with how much energy? Quite a bit.
Quite an amount. It could be almost 2 Fungals for each infestor. And it looks like KiLLeR is really committing to this push to stop the 4th base. I think this is a great idea, though he might have wanted to do a little bit earlier.
Is this really going to happen? Like, seriously?
Well, a massive counterattack happening by NesTea, but the Colossi are still waiting around the 3rd base, and it's completely denied. And this does not look as good for NesTea. I think NesTea really regrets committing so much to stopping that 3rd base going up.
Yeah.
Not positioning as well.
5 Broodlords in production here, and admittedly for NesTea, KiLLeR doesn't really have too much access to the Stargate, and, well, I mean, there we go, there's a Stargate in the back, but he doesn't have that fleet beacon down at all, so no real quick transition to that mothership anytime soon.
That's right. It looks like KiLLeR really wants to just commit to a massive Stalker Colossus push and try and just do some amazing blinks, which that was rather an amazing blink, stopping 4 of those infestors.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to be really careful of these spine crawlers, and he'll eventually have to blink under these 5 Broodlords at some point, which would be rather easily with the amount of damage he's doing.
Yeah, there's no more infestors left to be able to throw down those fungal growths if he actually does want to go for it. And there we go, he actually blinks forward, focusing down, instantly one-shotting every single one of those Broodlords. Was firing on one of the Queens for just a little bit there, but nice transfuses by NesTea to be able to keep those alive. But KiLLeR is doing a lot of damage here, and he's replenishing with 25 roaches that I don't know if it's going to work.
I think this army is just too strong for a roach backup. This is actually insane.
And not only that, but the roaches are going to be all separated. They're going to come in and
they're going to be
wait a minute, whoa, they pop right next to the Colossus and bring them down.
Wow, that's pretty lucky, but I don't know if there's actually enough roaches. There's still 2 Immortals left too.
Yeah.
And drones are in the mix, and there have been a lot of drones lost already from those Colossi.
Really has. 38 workers killed currently here by KiLLeR. He's whittled down the drone count from NesTea down to 51 against the 62, and he actually has a Warp Prism in play, but hasn't gone for those Storm Drops yet because he doesn't have the Templar Archives up just yet.
He doesn't seem to like the Templar Archives very much.
Well, hey, in Metropolis, it helped him out a great ton. He got so many kills with those Storms.
Yeah, it really changed the game.
Yeah.
This is looking very tough for NesTea now.
I must admit, I'm startled right now.
Yeah,
is this going to happen for a second time in a row?
You feel like it shouldn't happen, shouldn't it? It's like, it's not right. It shouldn't just happen like this, but it does.
You're saying that from the heart of a Zerg. I'm saying that from the heart of a random man.
I got Zerg tears right now, man. Especially for NesTea. It's okay. It's okay. It's his mistake to make, so...
True. As we have Storm on the way, and Colossus abound here from this Robo. So, NesTea, what is he going to replenish us with this, and how much does he have in terms of income? He is sitting pretty in terms of income against KiLLeR, as KiLLeR is still restricted to that, like, 1 and a bit bases of actual mining presence. But NesTea still establishing spine crawlers. I actually don't see this game finishing for a little while.
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think if NesTea gets more time to make more Broodlords, and while his Infestors sit there and gain more energy, yeah, he actually has a chance to come back into this, because I'm pretty sure KiLLeR is unsure of... Oh, he does know about this 4th base. Because I would have thought if KiLLeR knew about it, he'd be a bit more pressed to stop it, because that's really the key to enabling Broodlords. Having that 4th base, 8 gas, is quite an important number to have.
Well, this is one of the bases that is going to get storm dropped. That's what's going to happen to that base. Yeah. Almost guaranteed.
It does seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. We're going to see it in just... Hey, where's that Warp Prism? Hey, what does it have in it? Oh, 4 High Templar.
That's
what a surprise.
That's a lot of drones in that mineral patch too, man.
Uh-oh. It is. Actually, how many drones does he have here?
That is...
About a page and a half worth.
Yeah, that's going to be some sweet storming.
Uh-oh. And it's on the way.
He doesn't see it coming at all.
Oh, no!
Oh.
This could be brutal.
Here we go. Oh, NesTea sees it, though.
Yeah, great reaction time there. Saves a lot of them, despite getting a lot of kills, and actually weakening a lot of those Zerglings. Picks up 3 High Templars, though. Nice little poke there by KiLLeR.
That was good save by NesTea. That could have gone really pear-shaped.
So for now we have the 4th base on the way here for KiLLeR to be able to try and keep himself going. NesTea almost maxed out here with 11 Infestors, 21 Roaches, but where is the Broodlord
It's very surprising he's decided to just skip Broodlords, even though he has such a gas bank. He's just going for this mass ground army, and against Colossi, I don't see it being very effective unless he gets some really money fungals.
Yeah. NesTea taking the precautions necessary to shut down that drop harassment from those High Templar. And,
he's getting a little bit aggressive with half his army, and his Infestors are really poking out.
Well, they were indeed.
This is scary.
Had KiLLeR actually waddled forward a little bit there. He might have been able to kill off 1 or 2 Infestors, but once again, Storm drops in this mineral line.
Oh my goodness.
We'll be able to kill off a few workers. 59 workers killed in total. So he's made around 120 drones during this game.
That's insane.
And we have a little bit of a potential warp in down here from KiLLeR if he decides to do so.
And here comes the big push. Oh, well, I thought it was, but it looks like he's just going to be happy with taking this 4th base safely.
Well, again, neither player is going to concede at all until they are down to 0 supply. This is their tournament life, really.
Absolutely.
They want to be able to qualify for that open bracket tomorrow, or the next day potentially, depending on which one they get allocated to. So we have extra Archons being morphed in here. Still no Fleet Beacon, but double Robo. Wow.
So interesting. He just wants to... I guess, yeah, he's seen no Broodlords, he's seen no Corruptors. He's thinking to himself, all I need is Colossi, and I'll be having pretty amazing fights. And at the moment, that's all he needs. Just a matter of time of making that perfect ball and going for it.
And for now, this 1 High Templar just chilling out in the back here with the Warp Prism, not really being able to do too much just yet. Nice fungals to be able to kill off the Observers, keeping an eye on. But yeah, but actually, Overseer's there anyway. Oh, that's because he doesn't have any anti-air, of course. No Corruptors, no Broodlords, but Broodlords are anti-air anyway. So, for now, just sharking around in the middle of the map. And when is someone going to take an engagement?
They're both very nervous right now. It looks like NesTea is gearing up for a bit of a counterattack. KiLLeR doesn't want to let that happen, so he's going to pull back. And he's going to buy NesTea even more time while NesTea starts to make Broodlords. He's almost at 5, with 3 more Corruptors on the way.
Yeah.
So he's buying some good time, and it doesn't seem like KiLLeR is in any rush to get a mothership.
Actually, he's just building Observers. That's all he wants to do.
He wants to mass Observers. It's like some sort of...
Yeah.
So I don't know why. Yeah.
And he's actually going to send in some charge lots here.
Oh, and some Roaches are going to snipe some Templar. 3 full energy Templar. Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
And he actually warps into Templar right next to it. That was I've lost 4 Templar. I may as well lose 6.
Yeah, here, take a couple more.
And the Zealot's actually going to town in the main base of NesTea here. No greatest fight in this location. Nice feedback on one of those queens, though. But actually gets the spawning pool, so should be able to limit a little bit of what we can see from NesTea for now.
Oh, and a storm? No, he's just going to let it sit for a while. Keep those drones off the mineral patch, which I guess is kind of cool.
And finally, the Warp Prism dies, so NesTea able to deal with that. Once again, and Fungal Growth being able to shut down the advancement here forwards. And these Brood Lords in the way.
These Colossi going to town on those Infestors there. Only 5 Brood Lords, that's not enough to really scare the Protoss.
And only 5 Corruptors as well, so even if he wanted to try and deal with these Colossus in a way, using this architecture, he really can't do too quickly.
Exactly. Here comes the Blinken, he's going to snipe all these Brood Lords again. It's just not, there's no ground presence for NesTea to deal with it.
And meanwhile, we have a little bit of a counter-attack going up to the 4th of KiLLeR. He's going for the Roach, the base over there, but all these Stalkers killing off the Brood Lords don't have any more left. Well, they're up 4, but where are they? They're just chilling out in the back.
I think NesTea kind of made the wrong decision trying to counterattack with all his ground instead of trying to defend his Brood Lords, because it's all about that death ball. If you can hold your 4th and kill this army, he wouldn't have to worry about counterattacking, he'd just attack in time.
Well, interestingly enough here, looking at the supply counts, I mean, a lot of the supply, the supply differences are very, very evident in the army, and right now, the income is going to get cut down for KiLLeR in just a second, especially if he focuses down this Nexus, then he will shut it down entirely.
Perhaps I was wrong. This counterattack is what's going to win the game at this point.
Storms once again on this base. KiLLER so active about doing that.
So many storms.
And he brings down the Nexus at the 3rd location here, so KiLLER being stretched very thinly, and he brings down all the Colossus as well. He doesn't have any more army. KiLLER is actually on the verge of elimination here.
Oh my god, 29 population. He's got 4 observers just chilling at the back.
I don't know how this has happened, but
this is a crazy, crazy game.
It really, really is, as KiLLeR now trying to long-distance mine from this base, but there's just going to be some Roaches and Brood Lords to shut this down. So NesTea is going to win with 4 Roaches and 3 Brood Lords.
And 3 Corruptors.
Well, why not? But there you go, GG, ladies and gents.
Wow.
NesTea will advance onto the group stage here.
What a game.
After, look at it, that was a draining series of years. You can see it, NesTea himself. Wow. The smile there regardless. He advances on. Congratulations to NesTea. MVP congratulating him as well as he will join his teammate there in the group stages. So guys, that was not only draining on the players, that was draining on us, man.
Yeah, man, that was a long series.
That really, really was indeed. At every turn, it seemed like one person was going to win. It was just so back and forth, especially in that last game. I was almost positive that KiLLeR was going to be able to make the comeback there.
It looked really, really promising for him. And then that counterattack just won everything, because there was nothing to stop it, and he killed all the mining bases.
Did indeed. So
it's crazy.
I believe we shall be done and dusted for now. So we shall be passing over to Jarrett on the stage for an interview with Mr. NesTea. And we'll be back over here in just a bit.
I'm standing here with our winner and second last qualifier of the day, LG IEM NesTea. Congratulations on a very hard-fought victory. I know it's good enough. No, it's all right. When I watch you play, and I know that this sort of feeling resonates with a lot of StarCraft fans, it seems as though you can do whatever you want and you still win. Do you have that kind of confidence in your own play?
요즘에는 그런 자신이 없고 그냥 최선을 다해 게임을 할 뿐입니다 지금.
Well, Lady is not that confident anymore, and he's just trying his best to win.
Well, you have an incredibly effective training program of some kind. It could be the fact that LGIM has the most, 3 of the best players that have played the game. Do you want to thank your team and your fans for their support?
팬들한테?
네, 팬들하고 팀원들한테.
오늘 아쉽게 용화가 떨어져서 너무 아쉽고 다음에 더 잘할 수 있을 거라 생각하고 종현이와 이제 제가 올라갔는데 이제 조별리그에서 이제 팬분들에게 좋은 경기 보여드릴 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
Well, first of all, he said that Yonghwa didn't make it out of the open bracket. so him and MVP advanced, and tomorrow the group stage going to start, and he hopes that he can show both of them can show some good games.
I'm totally confident that we're going to see some more great games for you tomorrow. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.